Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're digging into a pretty massive shift in how we think about online testing and learning. It's a new framework called Assessment on the AI, or AoA for short. And let me tell you, it's a huge leap from the kind of static, predictable tests we've all had to deal with. So let's start with a problem that I'm sure sounds familiar. You're taking some online quiz or a big certification exam, and even with all the fancy tech, it just feels like, well, a paper test that happens to be on a screen, right? Why is that? Why do they still feel so stiff? Well, to understand where we're going, we have to look at where we've been. The system we have now is what the source material calls assessment on the internet, or AoI. This was that first big step, taking paper tests and just putting them online. And yeah, it gave us some cool perks like automatic scoring and getting our results right away. But that seemingly simple move online created a really deep, hidden problem. We gained speed for sure, but we also inherited a system with some seriously conflicting goals baked right into its architecture. Okay, first up, security. It's pretty obvious, right? If you have a big bank of test questions, you absolutely have to protect them. If those questions get out, the whole test is pretty much worthless. Then, goal number 2 is validation. For a test to be any good, you have to know the questions are actually fair and accurate. And how do you do that? You have to field test them on real people before you use them. As you can guess, that is a super slow and very expensive process. And third, you have scalability. I mean, the whole reason we moved tests online in the first place was to reach thousands, maybe even millions of people wherever they are, whenever they want to take it. And right here, this is the trap. In the AoI model, these 3 goals, security, validation, and scalability, are basically at war with each other. You can't have all 3. Want to scale up to 1 million users? Your security risk goes through the roof. Want to lock everything down tight? Good luck validating your questions or scaling at all. It's what the source calls the vicious circle of test security, a problem that the old system, by its very nature, just can't fix. So how in the world do you break a circle like that? Well, you have to change the entire game. You have to stop thinking of test questions like they're gold bars, a precious, finite thing you have to lock in a vault. What if, instead, you could treat them like water from a tap, a dynamic resource you can just generate whenever you need it? Now that is the fundamental shift from AoI to AoA. And this brings us to the main event, Assessment on the AI, or AoA. This is a framework that puts a large language model, an LLM, which is the same kind of AI behind tools like ChatGPT, right at the center of everything. So instead of just pulling old questions from a list, the AI is generating a totally unique, adaptive, and personalized experience for every single user. So what does this actually look like in practice? Well, the AoA framework isn't just one thing. It weaves AI through this entire 5-stage lifecycle. First, it helps design the whole assessment. Then it generates the content on the fly. It monitors how the system's running. It analyzes all the data, not just scores, but language too. And then, and this is so cool, it creates tailored narrative feedback that actually helps you learn. And when you lay these models side by side, the difference is, well, it's night and day. Just look at content generation. Paper tests, totally manual. The computer-based tests we have now, they're just pulling from a predefined bank of questions. But AoA, it's dynamic, on-demand, created by AI. This completely shatters that old bottleneck, which opens the door to basically unlimited scalability and true personalization. Now, you might be thinking, how can a single AI possibly do all of that? Well, here's the secret. It's not one single giant AI. AoA is designed to be an ecosystem, a whole team of specialized AI agents working together, each with its own specific job to do. And this diagram from the source material just perfectly illustrates that ecosystem. You can see how there are different agents for things like curriculum knowledge, for designing the test, for generating the questions, and for giving feedback. They're all talking to each other, passing information along in this really smart workflow. It's like a digital assembly line for personalized learning. Okay, let's meet a few of the key players on the team. First up is Coria. You can think of Coria as the system's brain, or its librarian. It holds all the core knowledge, the entire curriculum. It's the ultimate source of truth that makes sure the AI stays on track and doesn't just start making things up. Next up is AIG², and this is the content factory. It takes the instructions from Coria and just starts generating new test questions on demand. This is the engine, right here, that finally breaks that vicious circle we were talking about, because there is no static question bank anymore. But of course, you can't just have a factory churning out questions without someone checking them. That's where AIR comes in. AIR is the quality control agent. It's like an automated editor that reviews every single item for things like clarity, fairness, and bias before any human ever lays eyes on it. And finally, we have Gift. And honestly, this might be the biggest game changer of them all. Instead of just spitting out a score, you got an 85. Gift provides intelligent, personalized feedback. It can explain why your answer was wrong or what makes another answer right, and does it in a way that's actually supportive. It turns the test itself into an amazing learning tool. So, when you put this all together, what have we really done? By using this whole team of specialized agents, AoA accomplishes something that the old AoI system never could. It transforms an assessment from this static, one-time measurement, like a finish line, into a dynamic, ongoing conversation that's actually part of the learning journey itself. And that really just leaves us with this one final massive thought. If our assessments can truly adapt to us in real time, not just to test us, but to actively teach us and guide us, what does that mean for the future of learning? Because at that point, we're not just talking about changing tests anymore. We're talking about changing education as we know it.